Hey everyone, my name is Ocean, and in today's Advanced Tactics Guide, I will be discussing some PvP tactics you can use in Hunt Showdown to hopefully get the upper hand on enemy hunters. I will be going in depth on 3 tips to improve your PvP fights, as well as discussing and analyzing some clips on what tactics were used to increase survivability, and how you can apply these tactics to win in situations where the odds are stacked against you. Anyways, let's jump right into today's episode. Rotating. You'll live by it, you'll die by it, yet time and time again players forget its importance. Rotating is essentially just moving positions as often as possible relative to your enemy, while using the environment and different types of cover to your advantage. Think about this for a second. If you're posted up somewhere shooting at an enemy team and you haven't moved your position, that puts you in a situation that can get you headshot by someone who you are unaware of. You want to remain as unpredictable with your movements and position as possible. If I were to put this tip into a few words, it would be to never peek the same spot twice. And if you follow that rule, you will greatly increase your chances of surviving. Essentially, just shoot from one spot once, then rotate to another position and repeat that process until you are able to down the enemy hunters. Here's a clip where you can see how a solo enemy was rotating, making it difficult to take him down. Now in this situation, if he would have kept rotating like he would have eventually headshot one of us, and then it would have been a 1v1, which would have increased his chances of winning that fight. Overall, this tactic tends to work well even for people who don't have the greatest aim, because they use tactics like this to succeed at keeping them alive way longer. However, this guy didn't end up winning because he made the mistake of pushing on us through water. Now that I've explained the basic premise of rotating as well as showed you a few examples, I can dive into some of the factors you need to consider to successfully rotate. Firstly, you're going to have to determine how far you should rotate and whether just a mild repositioning or complete flanking is in order. Of course, this will depend on where you are in relation to the enemy and how much cover you may have at your disposal. If your teammates are down, you probably don't want to get too far from their bodies, as you're going to have to try to protect them from getting burned. So that can be a downside of rotating further. It will take more time and increase the chances of your teammates getting burned, essentially putting yourself at a time disadvantage. It's also worth noting that rotating works extremely well for taking out campers. Now in the case of rotating and coordinating with a teammate, you will have to discuss where you will be rotating to and maybe try to get you and your teammate on opposite sides of the enemy. Doing this will increase your chances of surviving, as one enemy can't look and shoot at 2 people at the same time. If you rotate with your teammate, it would be ideal for you both to focus on one hunter at a time. It will be easier to down a hunter if you both shoot one after the other. This will give the enemy less time to reposition and heal. Also, another side note of rotating is try not to trigger zombies or sound traps, especially if you're trying to keep the enemy in the dark without knowing the direction you are going to appear next. As you can tell, there are many factors for successfully rotating, so hopefully I gave you a good idea of what to think about in your next shootout. Now this next tip is called the waggle. Basically, waggling is just you moving your hunter in quick and unpredictable ways, making it way harder for the enemy to take you down. This one I don't see many people utilize, but it is extremely effective in increasing your chances of winning in those situations where you are outnumbered. This tactic is pretty difficult and can be disorienting if you aren't used to it. Also, if your teammates are down and spectating you, they may get sick.
I'm sick over here.
If you're able to stay alive longer, you greatly increase the chances of the enemy team making a mistake, giving you the opportunity to take them down. Waggling is essentially a survivability tip, and it excels at that. In this next clip, you will see just how effective waggling and rotating can be in less than ideal shootout locations.
Fucking waggle moves.
Stop running.
Shit.
Nice hit.
It is. I'm sick over here.
God. Got anything to chuck? Nice. I think there's one more though. Nice. Hit that follow up.
Kidding me?
Ow.
To the waggy. Oh god.
Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Nice. One more maybe.
Dude,
Tyler, dude.
I think you better save this clip.
What the fuck?
I think this is the lesson on how to waggle.
As you saw in this clip, I'm just trying to keep my movements unpredictable, which makes me a harder target to track. Also, it's worth mentioning that the more you move, the more likely the enemy will get an arm shot on you, which does reduce damage when compared to a chest shot. Or they could just miss you completely due to the increased difficulty of hitting a moving and unpredictable target. Another factor for waggling is that if you are up against players who are using compact ammo, the bullet travel time is a lot less compared to long ammo or medium ammo, and moving erratically will make people running Winfields or other compact ammo weapons have an incredibly difficult time actually landing shots on you. I've only seen a handful of other players utilize this tactic, and I only remember these players because they were incredibly difficult to predict and try to shoot at. Waggling has two advantages in both passive and aggressive situations. It can be used to push aggressive and apply pressure to the enemy team, or be used as a retreat tactic if you find yourself in the open getting shot at. Generally, you're going to want to use this tactic anytime you feel like you are exposed or capable of being taken down, until you get to a position that is less open. Like if you need to cross an open field and are paranoid about getting shot, you may not want to move in a straight line. You can strafe left and right as well as use the waggling tip. If you feel there is a player watching you from afar trying to line up a headshot, they may not even take the shot due to the sheer difficulty of hitting an unpredictable target. To sum up this tip, using the waggle as well as rotating properly will make you overall more elusive while increasing your chances of surviving while engaging with the enemy. Try using this tactic next time you play and let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Learning when you should push is without a doubt the toughest aspect of Hunt. I'm sure everyone is guilty of getting cold feet in some PvP situations. You may feel that you need to wait things out or just wait for others to start shooting before you make any moves. Maybe you're indecisive or feel that it's not the right time to push. Well, I can give you some ideas on when it's a good time to push in. Now, there are many factors at play here, but ideally you want to push in when you know the enemy is at a slight disadvantage. For example, the enemy team will be at a disadvantage if you hear them healing, bleeding, or if they are on fire, or otherwise distracted by another team. Overall, that would be a good time to surprise them. If you hit an enemy with a rifle and they retreat to heal, that would be a good time to push in and try to get that last shot. Knowing when to push is never a black and white situation, but in my experience, not too many players push super aggressively. So if you do decide to push, you will most of the time surprise the enemy and end up taking them down. Another good strategy for when to push would be when the boss is near 90% banished. If a team is inside the boss layer when it's about to fully banish, the boss layer gets really loud due to the banishing process. And most of the time, people try to pick up the bounty instantly and are standing over the bounty. In this scenario, if you rush in, there's a chance they won't be able to hear you, and will be focused on getting the bounty as fast as possible to scan and see where the enemy is. In another scenario, let's say you're playing trios and you manage to kill one hunter. You will want to apply as much pressure as you can with your team. You will want to coordinate with your team on how and where to push in, as well as attempt to burn anyone you down to put the enemy on the clock. In this situation, you will force the enemy team to come to you or make a play to save their teammate, and hopefully you will have them surrounded on all sides. To put this tip in a few words, an overall good rule to follow in Hunt Showdown is to try to make the enemy react rather than act. This puts you at an advantage, as shootouts will be on your terms and not the enemy's. You ideally would want to be the aggressor and not the defender in PvP fights. Knowing when to push is definitely an art in itself, but I think in order to improve in Hunt Showdown, you need to learn to be aggressive when warranted. Next time you're in a situation where you feel indecisive or are holding back on pushing on the enemy, I encourage you to try being more aggressive than you normally would. Have confidence in your abilities, and the Hunt Gods will give you strength to win most PvP fights. Oh, I also have one last bonus tip for you guys today. I strongly encourage you to go into the training game mode before you hop into Bounty Hunt. I have recently been going into training with my preferred loadout and spending 30 to 45 minutes practicing my aim and getting only headshots on zombies. It has been helping me feel warmed up and on point with my aim once I get into Bounty Hunt. If you truly want to improve at Hunt Showdown, you need to focus on improving your aim. Anything you want to get better at takes daily practice, so just hop in training mode, play some music in the background, and focus only on improving your headshots and quickness to aim. I promise you, if you do this, you will improve greatly. So today we talked about how to rotate properly, I talked about the art of the waggle, as well as discussing when to push. Overall, I hope this video helped you get some ideas on how to improve your PvP engagements. And if you watched all the way to the end, I appreciate your support. And since you've made it this far, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps to keep me motivated to continue making Hunt Showdown videos for you all. If you want to see some gameplay highlights or more advanced guide videos, I'll link the playlist for you down below. Also, I just recently created a Discord server, so be sure to join that to help our community grow. All links will be down in the description. Thanks again everyone, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.